Chapter 14, Mishnah 5. We learned in the beginning of this chapter that the Metzora brings two birds on the first day of his purification procedure. One bird is slaughtered over an earthenware vessel containing spring water, while the second bird, together with other items, is dipped into the blood and water mixture that is sprinkled on the Metzora. The second bird is then set free. Our Mishnah teaches that the two birds must be the same in a number of ways. The Mishnah also teaches what is to be done if there is a problem with one of the birds. The two birds that are brought for the tahara procedure of the Metzora should preferably be identical in appearance, height, and value, and they should preferably be purchased at the same time. But even if they are not identical in appearance, height, and value, they are valid for use. Similarly, if he purchased one bird today and the other one the next day, they are valid for use. The Mishnah discusses what is to be done if one of the birds is found to be invalid. If he slaughtered one of the birds and it was found to be a non-wild type and thus invalid for the tahara procedure, he should take another bird as a mate for the second bird. The first bird is then permitted to be eaten. Although the birds of a Metzora are generally forbidden for benefit, in this case, in which the slaughtered bird was invalid from the very start, it emerges that it was never in fact the bird of a Metzora, hence it may be eaten. Another case in which one of the birds was discovered to be invalid. If he slaughtered one of the birds and it was found to be a terefa and thus invalid for the tahara procedure, he should take another bird as a mate for the second bird, and the first bird is permitted for benefit. As in the previous case, since the bird was ineligible from the beginning, it is considered to have never been the bird of a Metzora to begin with. The bird is thus permitted for benefit. It may, of course, not be eaten, since it is a terefa. In the preceding cases, one of the birds was discovered to have been invalid at the time it was originally designated. In the following cases, both birds were initially valid, but something happened afterward to invalidate one of them. If the first bird was slaughtered, but the blood spilled before it could be sprinkled on the Metzora, the bird that was to be sent away must be left to die. Since the original designation was valid, the two birds became established as the Metzora's pair and must be used together. Since the first bird is now unusable because its blood spilled out, the remaining bird may also not be used. And since its original designation as the bird of a Metzora was valid, it is forbidden for benefit. It must therefore be left to die, and the Metzora must purchase a new pair of birds and begin the procedure anew. If the first bird was slaughtered correctly and the bird that was to be sent away died before it could be used to sprinkle the blood on the Metzora, the blood of the slaughtered bird must be spilled out. Here too, once the birds were designated properly, they must be used together. One cannot simply buy a replacement bird to be used with the slaughtered bird. Rather, the procedure must be performed with two new birds.